Welcome to another episode of Step Into Your Power podcast with Tommy Truthful and Honey C. Golden. Today we're going to talk about Gematria and the source code of reality. And with me, I got my buddy Honey. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm good. Besides all the crazy internet situations we had before this live,
I
technology,
know. A lot of
technology
tech
is
issues.
yeah, it's definitely acting up lately, and I think it has to do with our frequency and the change of that frequency. What do you think about that, honey?
I do because we create our entire environment, whether we believe that or not, we're doing it. And if your tech can't keep up with you, a lot of the time it's because your frequency is rising and you're not rising everything in your environment. You're not like aware that you need to rise the frequency of your electronics. And they tend to be the thing that really has an issue most of the time when it comes to these frequencies. But it's been interesting.
It has definitely been interesting to say the
Mhm.
least, guys. So before we get going, make sure you smash that like button, share this video, and don't forget to check out our community that me and Honey are partners in, stepintoyourpower.com, an amazing community. It's all about high vibrational content over there, really sponsored body align, and that's our energy wellness protection. And you can get that link down below as well. Honey's got hers on right there. Just really, oops, I try to show you a slide there. They got the detox patches, the EMF defense, over 4,000 customer 5-star customer reviews. So today, what we're going to talk about is the source code controlling this reality. And we did a show a while back on first player characters, first NPCs in the Matrix. And I just actually decoded Honey, which was amazing. She had such an amazing code. It was crazy because whenever I decode someone, then I can see, like, wow, is this person really what they say they're about? And you definitely are what you say you're about. I mean, your psychic capabilities connected to your source code, and it was just amazing to see that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really fun to read, I will say. And the Neo code was probably the most exciting thing because I completely see through the matrix and what is actually going on. Like I can see all of the little pieces, and I love that. So, and sometimes I don't understand why other people can't see it, but not everybody is going to see it right away. It's almost like you're walking through a waterfall and imagine that that's the veil. And there's a bunch of people that are walking in after you because they see that there is a cave beyond that. You can go through the waterfall. It is okay. And I feel like that is just seeing beyond it.
That's a great way to explain it. I like that. I'm gonna have to steal that from you. That's a good way to explain. No, it is so true though. I get frustrated at times too. Like, why can't people see this? What I'm seeing, and we all see that synchronicity, right? The divine timing. When you start to
Mhm.
raise your frequency, you'll start noticing these numbers on the clock, maybe 101 or 111 or 123. 123 is a big one for me. I was born at 1:23 a.m. in the morning. Conspiracy is 123, and when I say conspiracy equaling 123, I'm talking about Gematria, which we'll get into here in a second. It comes from Jewish Kabbalah mysticism. And like Honey's decode, I did hers in the Sepentry cipher. So when I decode a person, I look what number connects to their name most often. And I look at that number and I see that it's connected to Our brother Brad, he's connected in the 111 cipher as far as our soul group and our soul family. Um, I showed a similar slide to this before, but I kind of even upgraded it and added some extra things. So here you can see the different ciphers. You got the 369 cipher, the keypad cipher, Chaldean, Sepentry, reduction, English ordinal, and you see we have matches in every one of them. So that was just to show an example. We're not just matching in one of the ciphers, we have matches throughout all of them in that 111 connection, which is Step Into Your Power podcast, the Architect Soul Group, because 111, when you spell it out, it equals 102. And then 102 is the Architect Soul Group, matching Tommy, Brad, Honey, and Jimmy. And for your basic cipher, guys, is called English Ordinal. English Ordinal Gematria is our cipher that is based on the English alphabet, where A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, all the way through Z is 26. And in that cipher, truth is 87, God is 26. I always give them two examples, truth and God. And another thing, source in Chaldean, source is 26. So God and source, our higher state of consciousness, I think it's all one and the same thing. I think God lives within the side of us. Our body is the temple. That's my personal opinion, and I respect if others don't see it that way. I totally respect your opinion. And then you have reduction, which is known as the Pythagorean cipher. So in this cipher, say, K in English ordinal, K would be 11, right? It would be your 11th letter. But in the reduction cipher, you see K is 2 because you reduce everything. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Them are your two biggest ciphers that are used as far as basic gematria that people know. But then there's deeper ciphers that people really don't know about, like Sepentry, which is based on 1 through 7. That's the one I use to decode Honey. Or Chaldean, which is our oldest cipher. It goes all the way back to the Akkadians. And in that cipher, it's based on 1 through 8. So it goes to 8 and then starts over again, 1 through 8. The reason they didn't use the number 9 in this cipher, because in that culture, it was considered divine, the number 9. And it kind of carried on into today's as far as numerology goes. It's a very divine number 9. It was like not saying the name of God. There's certain religions where they won't say the name of God because they consider it too divine. So in their culture, that's how they looked at the number 9. And it's fascinating because first player character in that cipher is 64, which is tied into the Phoenix power. Planet X Destroyer is 64. All the world's a stage. And then if you go by mainstream cosmology, because I don't look at planets like they tell us they are. That's not what I believe, but I'm just saying the cosmology that they give us. They say Jupiter has 1 planet and 63 moons, right? Which is 64. So it ties you to that Jupiter energy, Zeus, Jesus, all that 64 code. And then Saturn has the 1 planet and 62 moons, which equals 63, which is non-player character. Black cube of Saturn, 666, a number they've also demonized because it's really the breakdown of carbon. The human body, that's us. We're made out of carbon. So we're tied to that 666. But look at the one thing that's in common with both of them ciphers. All the world's a stage in both of them, 64 and 63. And it's so true because it is a stage. And if you look at them ciphers tying to our pineal gland activation, which is your third eye, your spiritual antenna, the pineal gland open is 64, matching first player character, which represents Honey always shows that pine cone breaking down the fractals. And I think that's a great representation, right? And it also
Mhm.
represents the awakened avatar. And then the sleeping human is 63, the closed pine cone, sorry guys, which is non-player character. And that's the sleeping avatar. So what do you think about that, Sister Honey?
I love that. And I think so if when you think about decoding and divine math, so a lot of the math here has been corrupted, right? And but there was a language within the math. Math is a language in itself, and we chose what we were going to be before we came in. So your soul chooses, and your soul is like, okay, well, I want to be born on this day so that I have these aspects that get attached to me. And basically, we're choosing where the planets are, what we want our real personality to be. And the decodes, like even the things that show up in my body that are because I'm not paying enough attention or I'm giving too much power away or whatever. Those two things, health issues, have been the two things that I've spent a lot of time working on in my, my body's system. So the lungs, I was asthmatic, my, you know, most of my life.
Me too.
I really am, yeah. So, and that makes sense. And the lungs hold sorrow, right? I feel like the lungs are now finally healed. My asthmatic stuff seems to not really be there anymore. So that's really beautiful. But I just went through massive pneumonia for like a month and a half. And it's like I started to heal from the pneumonia and then it came back and I had to do, it all over again. But the other one is digestive. And I'm working on that now. I'm in the middle of working on digestive. And digestive affects the entire body. So we really are choosing how we're going to go through this life because your soul can see not only the present moment, but it can see all the present moments. So think about that. It sees your future, it sees your past. They're all the same in your soul's eyes. And that's why when you ask your soul to guide you, you're actually being guided into your highest timeline because your soul knows where it is, knows
Right.
how to get you there. Yeah.
Do you think like I always had a theory like the past, present, and future is all happening out simultaneously. You think that
Yeah.
too?
Yeah. And that's how the multiverse works. And you have your own parallels, but then you also have fractal parallels. So pieces of you that have a lot of their own personality and they go out and have multiple lifetimes at the same time too.
That's so cool. And
Yeah.
there was this one video I watched on YouTube, and he was talking about the fractals throughout the multiverse, and he was like, "I don't know if this is true, but it made me think after I watched the video. I was like, man, that's interesting." He said, "So you might die in this reality," and then he thought, and he was just thinking out loud. He said, "I don't know if this is true, but I was wondering if when you die in this reality, if maybe you wake up in one of them alternate versions of you in another reality." I was like, man, that I don't think that happens, but it's something cool to think about.
It rarely happens, but it can. So if you think about what's going on with us now, so we as beings are taking on more fractals than we would normally have, right? So we started out with one fractal, one piece of the pine cone. So that's our oversoul. And right now we're getting multiple fractals coming in. And what is that for? That's for gifts, for knowledge, to get us further through ascension. And so basically the guide to the human soul is expanding. It's getting bigger and bigger. And it's coming from the oversoul. So it's coming from the big part of you. But those lifetimes that they were living, they had to dissolve so that they could be here with you instead. So they're a healed fractal that's coming into your body to help you ascend. And what we're the whole purpose of all of this stuff is to help the human part of us ascend. We've already ascended many, many times. Humanity is the one that got stuck here in this reality. Humanity is the one that we're guiding out.
Trying to get them out of the matrix.
Yeah, and teaching them what the matrix is and teaching them that they can bend reality if they want to too. Just like Neo was bending spoons, we can bend reality to what we want it to be.
Yep.
We're truly in a game.
Yes, we are. We can bend and manipulate reality, like Honey was saying. I say that's crazy you say that, because I say that all the time. And it gets into that 64 first player character code. Them are people that can manipulate the ether. And I think now they tell us the ether doesn't exist, but it definitely exists. That was something they tried to get rid of. Nikola Tesla talked about the ether a lot, and how he was tuned into that ether, and that's how he was getting all these downloads and able to create all them amazing inventions that he created. So
Yeah,
I definitely believe we are able to manipulate reality, some of us more than others. And speaking of how we chose to come in through reincarnation and the specific planets, because if you look at your natal chart, you'll see like scorpions in 23 degrees Aquarius, you know what I mean, like certain
yeah.
locations or something. And that was a big part of that movie. I don't know if did you ever see the movie Jupiter Ascending?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's my favorite. Besides Stranger Things, it's literally my favorite movie ever. And like Jupiter Ascending, just look at in the reduction cipher, guys. You got the 76, which ties into a new world order. Well, who was the family running the whole universe in that? The Abraxas family. It was like a new world order. And it was the humanoids. They kind of, I think, represented like the Anunnaki. The Draco reptilians and the Greys worked for them. And they lived hundreds of thousands of years, right? And then the main character was a hybrid. He was a freaking he's even told her, you're a queen from a royal bloodline. She was the reincarnation of the queen of that Abraxas family. And he said, I'm like a dog next to you because of my DNA. He was a hybrid, but he was bred to be a super soldier.
Right.
And the Moloch sacrifice. Well, what did they do? They would let a planet reach its mass capacity, and then they would go and harvest all them souls. And they would take a bath in these harvest souls. It was this secretion they would make. It was like a white fluid. It took 100 humans to make one vial of this stuff. They would bathe in it, hit it with this electrical like charge, and then they would come up out of the pool and be completely regenerated to the perfect expression of their self. So say they look like 80 years old, it will put them back to looking 19 again, right? All their DNA was perfect. I mean, what did you think about this movie, honey?
Oh, I just thought, look at all that disclosure in there. Now, I'm not decoding it like you do, but I see all the pieces in there and all of the truth. And if you think about it, if you really think about it, those beings, those fourth density beings, so the reptilians, the Anunnaki, the Draco, and even the tall whites, which were not tall whites, tall grays. So the tall grays were human from another fallen earth. So they actually crossed over into our reality. We're trying to get our DNA so that they could basically restore their earth. But all of those beings were being controlled by wounded archetype beings, and there was a very small group, and they were basically creating the matrix in the way that they wanted. So they kept distorting the matrix. And we won that war. So we're done with that. It's over. But think about your own family. So this was a big soul family, right? They knew how to create the matrices. And one of them went rogue because we were in a polarized universe, went rogue and basically stole Earth along with a few of their siblings. So stole Earth.
Like Balaam in Jupiter Ascending. That was pretty much what he did.
They pulled it down into the third density, and they were harvesting energy already. So all of that stuff was going on. It was super gross, and it's not going on anymore. It's completely shifted. Earth is back in the fifth density, and we are still carrying the memory of the old, matrix within us. That's why we still see a lot of the old matrix, but that's also why it's falling. So the old matrix is falling apart, and we see it in everything, all the systems. So the government is falling apart. We're seeing it shift and change. The health system is falling apart. The school system is falling apart. And also the religious system is falling apart. So they had put all those systems in place, especially after the last reset, and they were creating their perfect scenario to keep humanity trapped. Because every few, I think it was a constant thing, but every few years it would restart that we're going to try and get in there. The rest of us have been in here trying to transmute this energy and trying to create ascension over and over and over. So it's kind of like keep away. It was like Earth was actually a sister. Okay. So they stole their sister's body and they pulled it down into the third density. And everybody else was like, we got to get that back. We got to get her back. So everybody else is trying to get her back by actually showing up in a human body on this planet to change the energy. Guess what? We finally succeeded.
After a long battle.
Such a long battle. Like before Atlantis, that battle started.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we do still see parts of it bleeding in though, right? Like
we do, because we're letting go of old memories. The Earth is letting go of old memories. And we're seeing it bleed through because we're releasing those memories and those programs from our bodies, and Earth is releasing it from her body. And some people are still trying to hang on to it. So they're still behaving grossly, behaving badly, or they still think that, I just did a show with someone else and they talked about blood magic. They still think that exists, but it doesn't. Those codes have been dissolved. And I think it's important that we know that and that we are willing to let it go, because we don't want to recreate that. We can create just like this. So why create the old, crappy, distorted matrix? Please think about what you want to create that's beautiful for yourself, and that will spread out to other people. But we create our own matrix, our own timeline all the time, and then we kind of merge it with people. So the wind is really kicking up with people that are wanting to have the same sort of experience. So you and I are in the same timeline, the same bulk timeline, big timeline, but each one of us has our own timeline. You have your own life that you're living. You have your own friends, like you live in another state, all that kind of stuff. So you have your own real life going on, and that's your timeline. But then we also have a group timeline where we're spending time together, we're doing projects, and a lot of people are doing that. And we have a timeline separation coming up as well. And it's really in the process right now.
That's a beautiful thing though. I'm
Oh,
excited for it. You know, how all this works. And yeah, my brain just always worked with numbers. Numbers just always made sense to me. So like how you see all this other stuff, I'm always seeing the codes, you know, and everything. And there is an organic source code behind everything. And that's what I want to stress to these people. None of these numbers, there's no such thing as an evil number. People might use it for the wrong thing, but that doesn't mean the number itself is evil. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because people get that mixed up all the time. And a lot of these things, for example, remember that power outage that we had in where was it? Portugal and Spain. Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I seen all the people that was decoding it. They're like, yeah, the elites made it happen because the numbers all lined up. Da, 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 da. No, it's not that. It's the numbers lined up because it's part of the source code. It's part of the source code. That's why the numbers line up. And we had that movie come out, Zero Day, which was about a major power outage with Robert De Niro, which I used to be a fan of his, but I'm not so much a fan of his anymore.
No.
I learned some things, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of yours, Robert, if you're even around anymore. So I'm not much of a fan of his. They probably got some AI up on there playing his character, but so that movie comes out, it's like breaks Netflix, right? Everybody's talking about it, and it comes out February 20th, 2025, and then Monday, April 28th of 2025, boom, the power grid goes down. And that was 67 days after the release of that movie, which ties into a lot of crazy things, human sacrifice, Luciferianism, 187, but it's just part of the source code. Cyber Polygon, which was the government having this major cyber attack on America, but we've seen it happen over there in Portugal. And like I said, you have people breaking it down saying, yeah, look, see, they made it line up with this, but it's not that some human made it line up with that. It's part of the source code. That's why the numbers line up. Just like when I decoded Honey or I decode myself, the numbers line up. I'm not making them numbers line up. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the source code, guys. And you know, I do these decodes over on my website, truthfultv.com, where I break down all that stuff. So if you're ever interested in that, you know, you can check it out. And I break down whether you have the 12-strand DNA, like Honey. She has all that tied to her. The Neo code, I break down your superhero archetype. Who was your superhero archetype again? Do you remember? I do so many.
I don't remember.
Was it Captain Marvel?
Oh, yeah. I think it was. Yeah.
And she is so powerful. Captain Marvel is like one of the most powerful superheroes. Like she literally can beat Superman, all the male superheroes. You know what I mean? She's probably the most powerful superhero in existence, and she got her power from plasma. She got hit with this advanced alien plasma engine that just she absorbed all that energy into her, and that's what gave her that power. And it kind of reminds me of like what we're going through with the sun and the gamma radiation being released and that activating certain people's 12-strand angelic DNA code.
Yeah.
You know, I see that in that symbolism with that movie. But yeah, that was yours.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember that now. So one thing too, since we're talking about it, is the Marvel movies. That's disclosure. That's disclosure of a lot of the behaviors that have been going on with the war, the spiritual war. So when you look at a Marvel movie, think spiritual war, not Earth war, but it affects Earth. So what are they doing? They're trying to save Earth. So a lot of that is the architect souls fighting with each other and angelic souls as well. I mean, the first army of God, angelic souls as well, have been involved in that. So it's like the souls are trying to really clean everything up. And guess what? We succeeded. So we are in the fifth density now. The third and the fourth are dissolved. So all that's left is the memory of them and the distortion that we may carry in our subconscious mind and in our field, our energetic field. So the more we let go of that, the better life is going to get. And when you try and hang on to it, a lot of times you get instant karma from trying to hang on to it. Let's say you're saying something like, this person did this to me. They said this, and now I feel bad and it's their fault.
Right.
You attracted it so that you could learn that you have to change from the inside out and you're in charge of your own feelings.
Yeah, that makes sense too. That makes sense. So we got to be careful because our thoughts create reality, right? And we don't, like you said, we don't want to rebirth this old world that was happening. You know, I do what I do with the decoding to try to wake some of the people up that ain't as far along, but I've been getting further away from that and trying to do more of the higher vibrational content because, you know, I just think that's where we're at in the timeline. And what Honey was talking about, at least from my perspective, where you were talking about Marvel and this battle that was taking place, a lot of that battle was taking place in the astral plane, right?
Right.
And
mostly the astral plane. Mm-hmm.
Right. And we have the silver core. This is a little diaphragm I made with the mushroom cap, the brain stem, the sperm cell, how it all ties into the umbilical cord and our silver cord. And that's where a lot of us were fighting this war that's been going on for a long time in the astral plane. And, you know, yeah, we don't want to recreate the reality that we've just even in this new reality, this new earth. If you go out and look at the sun, it ain't the same as it looked when we was growing up. That bright orange color, now it's like a bright white. Sometimes even looks blue, you know?
Yeah. And if you take a photo of it, I've noticed this with my camera, you get to see the real sky. Like it's so bright that you can see the purple halo around it. And the real sky is periwinkle. So if you're looking at this grid that's behind us, the real sky is the color of purple and blue mixed together. So it's a periwinkle. And that sun that we see that's bright white, that's a false sun, but it was created for us, hung by the Pleiadians to bring in those light codes from the souls that are creating those light codes. The Schumann resonance is the heartbeat of the earth.
Yes.
And basically the earth is being bombarded with light codes and information, and our bodies are being bombarded by that as well. And what it's doing is releasing the things we don't need and bringing in information that we do need for our own ascension process. So you're upgrading your body as you're sitting in the sun right now. And the Pleiadians, it is their proudest moment, the creation of that sun. It was very complicated for them, and it took them a long time to figure out how to do it, but they did. And it's really important that you're in the sun every day because it will help your body adjust to all the things that are happening right now.
I definitely seen numerous suns too, and I just always thought it was Nibiru, the Planet X thing, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And then when the eclipse happened, I'm right in Ohio, so it went directly over me in Ohio, like it went right over my head. I got a video on my freaking Facebook where I went live. Well, I guess Facebook's taken down all the old lives though, so that who knows if it's still there. I better go look and download that because I had a video of it where I'm standing out in the middle of the road and you see the sun go out, and then you could see something behind it. There's something going on behind there. It wasn't just what they told us, the sun and the moon. Like there was something else going on there. And we had some really weird things happen after that eclipse, remember?
Yeah, and it was kind of like a turning point that needed to be put into our reality. But the eclipse, it wasn't a real thing, like it was created for us. And when was that? Do you remember
That
what
was on, yep, April 8th. I remember it. April 8th it happened. Yep, 4/8. 4/8, which
of
guess
what
what?
year?
That was April 8th of 2024.
Okay.
The Great
Yeah.
American Eclipse, it made the final X, and it made that X right over the New Madrid fault line. The first one happened in 2017, and then
Right.
then you remember the other one came and it made a perfect X over America, right over the New Madrid fault line, which kind of made me wonder. But yeah, April 8th and simulated reality is 48. April 8th, 8.
So it was a simulation. It was part of the simulation. But also think about, so whenever my dad would always talk to me about the precession of the equinoxes, and he would talk about going, basically there's what's called a cross that looks like it's part of the Milky Way, and there's a certain divine cross, right? So we entered that in that moment. It feels like that was some sort of celebration, and it sped things up because the war was won in 2023. So the astral plane war between the souls was won in 2023, probably like August. But we crossed into the new universe in June 18th. And you can see it in the Schumann resonance. And it looks like a tapestry of maybe like DNA or whatever. It's absolutely beautiful. And that's when we got into the new universe, because the universe has been upgrading, not just us, not just Earth. Because guess what? We're not going to have third and fourth density at all anymore. They've peeled away, they've dissolved, they're gone. And what we've created is eighth density. So now we have fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth density. And eighth density had been in the process of being built. And think about those are physicality. So the eighth density now exists, and you can be in whatever dimension you want to be because that's your consciousness. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's just beautiful, the things that have gone on. And it hasn't been easy on us because our bodies have been changing the whole time, you know?
Oh yeah, people have been going through some really, really powerful changes. Your equilibrium feels off. You feel a little dizzy. One day, after I got done doing a show, it felt like I got the most craziest download, but it almost knocked me out of my chair. It was like, yeah, it was like painful to take it. You know what I mean? It was painful to get that one. So, how was that?
I love it. I love it. Usually for me, it's like I know that we had this huge shift, and it's not necessarily a download, but I've almost fallen out of a chair before, and then I was standing once and I had to grab the counter because I almost fell over, and it felt like a boat that just was started to like capsize.
Yeah. Oh, I've had them many times. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you're just hanging on.
For a while there, I thought, I'm not going to lie to you. For a while there, I'm like, am I getting targeted with some type of direct energy weapon or something? That's what I was thinking for a while, because it was so intense until I started to really realize what was actually happening. You know?
But you're feeling the timeline shifts, and you're feeling the big, shifts going on. And for you, since you see code, you're probably one that knows how to actually make code and also you have lucid dreaming going on, which I do too. And I've changed the ends of my dreams. Like, no, I don't like that ending. Let's change it again. Let's change it again and again and again until I'm happy and satisfied with the end of the dream. And the first time I did that, I was like, wow, that's crazy that I could do that. But now I understand that's how we actually function. We can change reality if we want to. If we don't like it, we can rewind and fix it.
Yeah, you're a dream walker. That's what that is. People that can dream walk can rewrite their dream. Well, a lot of you out there can do it, you know. And there's an exercise that's really easy to do. There's two different exercises. One, you can write some words, like if you keep having sleep paralysis where you wake up and you're stuck in bed and you think you don't know if you're dreaming or not, but you can't move. They say to put something above your bed, like a piece of paper with words. And if you can't read them words, then it means you're dreaming. But that's basically just for sleep paralysis. This other exercise is how you're going to be able to take over your dream. And what you do is put a rubber band, and this is how I learned how to do it. You put a rubber band on your wrist and put your alarm clock on your phone, or like me, I got one of them watches that you wear. It's Apple smartwatch, and when that goes off, set it for every 3 hours. You're going to do this for 7 days. Every 3 hours when that alarm goes off, snap that rubber band 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then what happens is when you just trained your subconscious to look down at your wrists now, because you've done that so much, and when you're dreaming, you're going to look down at your wrist and that rubber band ain't going to be there. And then once you notice that rubber band's not there, you're conscious that it's a dream. And now it's like that movie where Inception, where you can take control of that dream.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool technique to teach people.
That's really cool. Yeah, I love that.
I didn't make that up, though. Some girl did on TikTok, taught me that, and it actually worked. Shout out to that girl on TikTok. I don't know who she was. It was years ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would do a video just on that. I feel like people would love to know that. We could do a dream video. So if you guys are interested in that, please put comments in and we'll talk about dreams and what they really mean and the astral plane and stuff.
Yeah, and dream hacking. Dream hacking is another cool one. I got this one girl. I'll try to reach out to her. She's like an expert. I've had her on before in dream hacking. She's read so many different books on it, and she's experienced it herself. She's really nice too. I think you would like her, honey.
That'd be great.
She's pretty cool. So, yeah, we always try to keep our shows right at this 40 to 45 minute point so we can upload them on Instagram too, guys. I think we covered a lot of good subjects today. I did want to say one last thing. If you're suffering with some of these traumas and you're having trouble healing, I would highly recommend looking into Honey's Quantum Healing because it's helped me so much. And you can find that link down below. What's your website too, Honey? Where you
balancingbodyandsoul.com.
balancingbodyandsoul.com, guys, and she's amazing. Can you heal some of them traumas in there?
Yeah, we actually go into the astral plane with everybody and we deal with traumas, and they sign a contract because no one heals unless they agree to heal. So they create a contract with themselves, and then we go up and we break all the contracts that contradict whatever it is that they want. And then we go through a lot of different things, and I'm adding something. So Lisa Schermerhorn and I do this whole process, but we're going to add in working with the body at the end. So, and that is something that I'm certified in, and she's certified in a different kind of thing. So we're going to start doing those and adding those into the healings. Yeah.
Yeah, you both are amazing. You guys are so good together. I don't want to give away none of your secrets, but I like the part that you do with the feet in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it actually worked for me, and I did everything Honey recommended in it. I followed every step she said. And I mean, you could feel it, guys. So it's really amazing. And that link will be right down below. And with that link, there will be, if you're one of my followers anyways, there'll be a promo code where you can save 20% too on the quantum healing. It's amazing. So we love you guys and we thank you for hanging out with us. Do you got anything else you would like to say, honey?
No, the energy is obviously clearing. The whole trailer is rocking right now.
I
So
see.
yes. I just want to say thank you to everybody for being who you are and for being here with us in this ascension process. It's amazing right now.
Yeah, thank you guys. We love y'all. Smash that like button, share the video, and we'll see you next time.